Hello, everybody. Welcome to Release with Ease. And I am your host, Edith Bekis, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV. So today I'm going to help you to cut your cords, the cords of attachments. And we're also going to talk about how can you actually set boundaries with toxic people. So stick with me because you're going to feel liberated at the end of the session or episode. So let's begin. So why we actually need to cut cords and what does it mean that you're having cords? So the cords of attachments can come from other people because of they thinking about you, they feeling certain emotions towards you. So there is like an invisible cord is start to get created between you and the other person. Even though if you don't think about them, it doesn't matter if they do think about you and they have certain expectations, wishes, or anything like in a negative way, which can hold you back because it's not aligned with your own wishes or your own path, then it's creating cords which is actually keep you stuck. So that's why it's so important sometimes not to share too much with people about you, because then might they start to make some assumptions, some thought patterns, and then they realize that how it would affect them if you go on your path or if you fulfill that wish or that goal you taught to them. So then they start to think about something else which is against it. Then they create that cord of attachment which can actually hold you back. So it's always good to share your things, your goals, your path with people who's actually aligned with that, who's supporting you, who's there to basically help you to grow and who's accepting all of these yourself, but wants to grow and wants to actually move on. And there are people like could be even your parents or your loved ones who might feel some fear of your transformation or fear of losing you, so they start to have some thought patterns about you or some expectations, and that can create cords of attachments. So when we cut the cords of attachments, we don't cut love. We cut only the negative thinking and the negative emotions and the things which is holding you back. So it's okay to cut cords of attachments with people who might you feel close to and you love them. So you don't need to worry about that. And how often you need to do this? So basically, I would recommend to do it on a daily basis, especially if you know that people are talking about you or thinking of you. Then definitely once a day, end of the day, before you go to sleep, you can cut the cords of attachments because it doesn't take too much time, but it's really helping your energy is to get liberated, to take on your space, basically, to get back into your full potential. So these cords can actually appear in any part of your body, but usually it's on your trunk or on your shoulders and the head. So usually they are not on your legs, but where the energy centers are also present. So how do you know where are they? Sometimes you don't really need to know it to cut them, but you can also sense them. If you tune into your senses, tune into your body, then you can also sense them, where are they? And then that helps you to cut them. But when we do the exercise together later on today, then you will see that it's also not important to know where are those cords, because we're going to be really going into every part of your body to cut them off. So it doesn't matter if you don't feel them, but it's really important. And it's sometimes you don't even meet with those people. When someone is, for example, a celebrity, there are so many people thinking about them, right? There are so many people is actually who have certain wishes towards them and expectations. So whatever it is, they are actually really carrying lots of cords with them, and then it's sometimes causing them all kinds of emotional or mental issues as well, because it's really heavy, it's really draining, it can feel really toxic, having that so much weight on them. And obviously sometimes they don't even know, or you don't even know why you feel in a certain way, why you feel fatigue, why you have why you feel the exhaustion, or why you feel so tired, is sometimes because of these people, what they expecting you and how they think about you. So it's highly recommended to do this practice So what's the other thing which can actually affect you on a daily basis and can actually drain you energetically? And that is when people around you, like in your close environment, is actually just cutting close with their energy. So what can I like, their aura is cutting close to your aura, and then their energy is getting on your energy field. Basically, when you are in very close environment, and also when they are in your close in your environment, they also using certain words which are have like negative energies, or they are fighting, or they have like a low vibration, then that's affecting you as well. So when you are with somebody like this in a close environment, is not the same way to get rid of that as the cord of attachments. Is more like setting boundaries and then also cleansing the energy of you. So we're going to talk about that as well. So let's first talk about how to set boundaries. It wasn't a big deal until 2020, when there was like the lockdown, when everybody was faced with all of this toxic environment and faced with get stuck with people who they realize that they are draining, and then they didn't know that before because their time with them was limited. And it could be even with family members or just people who they lived with, in a close environment. So when there was the lockdown, then they realized that, oh my god, this person is really draining, is draining my energy. It feels like it's heavier, my whole life is getting more difficult if I'm talking to that person, if I'm around that person. And sometimes those people, of course, they don't know what they're doing. They don't know that they have a way of draining you or affecting you in a certain way. Of course, if they are a negative person who's always venting and always in a negative emotion, sitting in a rabbit hole and always talking about it, that's already causing that negativity. But then sometimes they just feeling bad about themselves, and they're just walking around with that low vibration, that also can affect you. And then they don't consciously draining you, but their energy is obviously draining you. So back then in 2020, I also wrote a book which is on the healer's journey, and I also talk about in this book about boundaries and how to set boundaries, especially with family members. So how you can actually achieve that you are spending less time with these people, because there is different options how you can deal with these people. The easiest is actually to limit the time with them, which means you need to be clear about it, like, okay, I can't spend time with you, and then communicate with them. Might you can come up with ideas to go away from them, doing other activities without them, and basically really take time off from that environment. Might it can hurt them if you don't want to tell them or address it the way like, yes, you're draining me kind of way, then obviously you just find the time and the space to go away from them as much as possible, and spend some alone time or spend time with uplifting people, basically, right? The other thing what you can do is that as you realizing these triggers, like, because these people are triggering you, right? They creating within you some frustration, some misunderstanding, some unsupported feelings, maybe even unloved, feeling unloved. So when you feel triggered by these people, then you start doing your healing journey through forgiveness and releasing these energies from your memories or from unconscious mind, then basically you are also going to impact them, because they are in your soul family. So when you healing your past, you healing them as well, is a ripple effect. So you're gonna realize that they also going to change by time, and they're not gonna be the same way like before. They're not going to be as draining as before. They are also going to be more open for being more positive or in gratitude, and so on and so forth. So that has a huge effect if you start your own healing journey, and that helps them as well. You don't even need to push them to do healings if you take the responsibility in the family to do the healing. in a couple of weeks time, we're going to have an episode where I will actually go through this very powerful deep healing. So I highly recommend you to join me at that time. So you can even pick a situation if you are in a situation with boundary setting, with frustration, or with some situations with family members, and we can actually release that and heal that for you in that episode. So yeah, so as you see, you can first be direct and communicate with them, and basically not spending enough time, not too much time with them. And the second version is like you start your healing and they healing, and then also it comes together, like everybody's gonna be more in peace and harmony. So it's really important, because this can happen not just in a family environment, it can happen also in a work environment with coworkers. And this is like also really can be really exhausting, really difficult when you go to the office, you need to sit there, you need to work there, and then your coworker is actually a toxic person, or actually someone who's draining your energy, who's not making your life easy at work. And then again, how to set boundaries with those people, and what is recommended, because with them you can't really affect them the same way as the family members with the healing, because they are not in your soul family. But you can still, set the boundaries, like spending less time with them. And also, if you just make sure that you are a positive person, you can still spread your light. You can still, through observation, there is a way, it's called observation. So what is observation? Sometimes people think observation is just really just listening and observing others, but the observation is also can be very powerful when you start observing the person on a better way than they are. So you projecting in them the growth, and you only focusing on their positive sides, and you actually acknowledging that, or telling them, you complimenting them, and then you are coming to them with a compassion and with kindness. So then they are gonna actually change towards you, because they start to feel like, wow, this person likes me, and this person thinks I am this and this. They start to feel more significant, they start to feel more accepted, and with that they start to feel like, wow, I don't need to feel sorry about myself. Because most of the time these negative energies, or the venting what comes from them, is from their own wounds, from their own traumatic experiences. So they are sometimes miserable, these toxic people, because of their own pain. And then when you are able to lift them out of that and show them their better side, or show them like what do you like in them, or why do you appreciate them, then they light up, they start to be more happy, they start to feel like, wow, actually I am needed, or I appreciated what I do and how I do things. And they start to actually change and transform through your observation and through your positive way of communicating to them. So it's really important to acknowledge that we have the power to change people around us. Sometimes they say like, oh, you can't change people. You can shift them, you can change them if they actually start feeling safe, recognized, and feeling valued, feeling higher self-esteem. Then their inner child, they start to get healed, who was wounded by all kinds of criticism and judgment. So it's again, it's coming back to the point, like how strong you are, how powerful you are, how much you can take on in this healing journey. Do you want to change lives? Do you want to change your own life? Because you need to put some effort, as you see, but you can change. As you change others around you, that's better for you too. So then the toxic people around you changing, then you don't need to take on those heavy ventings or weights from them. So it's about putting some effort in, right? But it's gonna have amazing results at the end. And it's also helping your healing journey and stopping certain patterns and triggers in your life. So your emotional roller coaster will also smooth out, and you're gonna have a much a peaceful life as well. So I would highly recommend to put some effort to be more kind to others around you, to put some effort to communicate more with people around you, especially if you think like they need your support, they actually, you feel like they are that miserable because they have some pains and they need some support, some kind words, some help. Many people is actually sometimes put on some mask like smiley face, on their pain, so not always can be recognized what they going through, but you can actually realize it through their sarcasm or through their way of actions or that way of reactions, like there is something there behind that smile, and probably they need your support. So stick with me to learn more about how to set boundaries and how to cut cords, and why is it so important to actually what we think and how we think about other people. And we are going for a break now. You are watching Release with Ease. I am your host, Edith B. Kiss, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV. Hello, hello, welcome back to Release with Ease. I am your host, Edith B. Kiss, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV. So let's dive deeper into the thoughts, how actually the thoughts can affect your well-being, your physical health and your mental health. Not just your thoughts, but the thoughts of the people around you. We talked about boundaries, why we need to set boundaries, and we talked about cord cuttings, why we need to cut cords, and those are all related to the thoughts of the people around you. So the thoughts are the ones that creating actually emotions. So the thoughts and emotion are very connected. So if you think about something negative, then you have negative emotions. And the negative emotions are low vibrational emotions, because everything has frequency, everything is energy. And the emotions and the thoughts also have frequency. So if we think about anger, or we think about something negative which brings you anger, then you are in a very low vibrational energy. And when people around you are angry, that's also affecting you, is a low vibrational frequency which is affecting. And why is it affecting you, and why is it affecting them? There was an examination, like an experiment, that they found out that the water is highly affected with these vibrations, and the human body, 70% is water. So as the thoughts and emotions affecting the water itself, and they realized that when they froze it, they could see that the crystals is actually more creating a much worse pattern than when they are having higher vibrational emotions and higher vibrational thoughts. Then it's like beautiful pure patterns in a frozen water. So that's clearly told them that actually how people think around the water can highly differ the crystals, how they are. So it's actually how beautiful they are, and then even the color was changing. So basically it's very much affecting your physical and well-being, your physical well-being. If someone is thinking negative around you or talking negative around you and having negative emotions, it's affecting literally your physical body as well, because of the water in you, not just your energy body. And this is really important. So that's one of the reasons we don't want to be around people who's very negative, who's thinking negatively and acting with anger and all kinds of negative reactions and energies. And we want to choose the people who are more positive, because our whole body is taking on that vibration. And the other thing is, when you go into crowded places and you don't know, who going through what, especially like nowadays where we are in Mercury retrograde just starting tomorrow. We are already in the shadow period. We are in an eclipse in full moon just today, and the eclipse season is 2 weeks long. So basically during this period, people are more triggered, more sensitive, more how can I say this, more fragile in many ways. So they are more likely to act or react with negative emotions and fight and getting into those kind of things. So basically these times is more of for these triggers coming out. So we need to protect ourselves even more. It's not even recommended many times that to go out at full moon in a crowded places, because it's more amplified these negative emotions and negative thoughts, and you taking it in with your body and also in your aura. So what happens if you are in a places like this? So then you go home from these places. It's highly recommended to actually take a shower, change your clothes, even wash your hair, because everything is taking on these energies. And then after that, you can even sage, clean the space around you. You can also do some grounding exercise, and then the cord cuttings, which we're gonna do soon in this episode. Cord cutting is really important for that people who's even not around you physically, they can be in distance, but if they think about you or have emotions towards you which is not aligned with your goals and with your energy, then it's creating a cord of attachments which is slowing you down, which is keeping you stuck, which draining for you. Basically through these cords, energetic drainings can happen. So that's why we need to cut the cords. So I highly recommend to actually take really care of yourself, and then especially in these times, and look out also to others who might can feel more, more under the weather in this eclipse season. What is this eclipse season is doing to you is you start to have more vivid memories, maybe from times which wasn't feeling right to you, like some traumatic experiences, some with the ex or with your parents or whatever it is. Like it's coming back now more heavily. Might you have some nightmares going on? Might you just have some more awareness about the situation, or you thinking about them more? Because this eclipse season is actually helping you to release them, helping you to come to the end of this pattern, to let go of this pattern. And the easiest way to let go them is through forgiveness. That's really necessary for healing and forgiveness. So when you're experiencing in these next 2 weeks that you start to have these nightmares, or you start to have some conscious thinking about some memories which were not pleasant, you need to go into the situation and allow yourself to forgive, to yourself as well and to the other person. And it's really important. You're not doing it for them. The forgiveness is not for them. You don't need to acknowledge it, to tell them or anything. No, you do the forgiveness for you, to stop the pattern, to stop the triggers, to stop actually these heavy energies. And then you won't get triggered that much, and then you will feel much more in peace. So this season is for letting go. This season is for healing. This season is when you recognizing this coming up memories, to release and heal and forgive, basically. And many people can go through the same situations. So they actually having these nightmares, they having this emotional roller coaster right now. So there are many people getting triggered and then feel fragile and exhausted, and can feel like, okay, I want to stay alone. I want to be like a hermit now for a couple of days. So you just need to understand other people's perspective and just let them be. Don't rush things in this time, and don't feel like you need to, communicate them even if they don't want to, or you need to, get on their nerves or something. You need to give space and peace to other people as well, to go through their on their own speed, to go through their transformation or their healing journey. And this is I'm telling this to people who might feels like on the other side of the situation, when they are the one who love talking about themselves, who love talking about what's going on within their life, and then they maybe meet with people who wants more space, who wants more quiet time, who don't want to listen. Then let them be now, because they need that quiet time. They need that peace now, just to be themselves, to go through their own healing. It's not always happening through speaking. Actually, I don't really support speaking therapy much, because I believe it's just stirring up all of this pain and bringing it more into the consciousness, but then is not giving a final let go or result. So you need to understand that, okay, if you start speaking about these things, whatever is hurts you right now, then get into the conclusion, not to feel like, oh man, I am so betrayed and this was such a terrible incident and I just hate that person and I just hate myself. And no, you shouldn't get to that point. But if you get to that point, you need to continue and say, but I forgive now because I don't need to carry this with me anymore. I don't want to carry this anymore. But the thing is that if you're talking to someone about this story, you are more turned on to the hate, to the venting, so you're more into those negative emotions and it's more difficult to forgive. But if you spend long time and you go into those memories alone, then you have a different perspective. Then you can catch the perspective and you say, yeah, I wasn't in the space to know it better. They didn't know better. So they were affected by this and that. And I wasn't smart enough. So you can find the edge, you can find the perspective, and you can finally forgive to yourself and forgive to them. And that's very important. Not the hate, not the finding those negative emotions, because then it's more difficult to forgive. So basically the advised thing is not thinking about that situation and being in negative emotions. The advice is to thinking about those situations but getting into forgiveness, because that's the healing. The forgiveness is the healing, the letting go is the healing, and then you can be in peace, and then you can also have less triggers in your life, because the pattern doesn't need to continue because you let it go. So it's really important to understand. Most of the people is like saying like, oh, if I forgive, then I justify what they've done to me. But it's not, this is not what we need to think about. It's the ego. The ego is what is wants a justice, you know. Basically, you need peace and you need well-being and you need health, and you can reach that through forgiveness and letting go. If you keep on being in that negative emotions, you're just gonna block your chakras, you're just gonna block your energy centers, and it's gonna cause you more physical illness. And you don't want to go there. You don't want diseases, cancer, diabetes, heart attack, because you can't forgive. Because I've seen people like that. I've seen people who had cancer and then they couldn't forgive, and then even though they had chemo, the cancer came back because they couldn't forgive. They didn't know that they have to forgive. Back then, it was like 20 years ago, when I couldn't I wasn't in the position at back then to advise them, or because they were not my clients. But what I was looking into that situation is, what I felt is that the person was still in that same pattern, thinking about the same situation, thinking about the same, which wasn't even in his part of life. You know, he could even live without the whole situation. It was just he couldn't let it go. So yeah, so if you want to have a peaceful life, if you want to feel great, then forgive and let go. Okay, so after the break, we're gonna come back to do the cord cuttings. You just need to be in a peaceful place. So if you are driving your car, I highly recommend you to park your car so we can do the cord cuttings together, and then you can continue driving afterwards. It's not going to be a samadhi meditation, so you're not going to transcend. We're not going to go that deep today, but we're just going to focus on cut your cords today. And then if you learn how to do that, then you can do it tomorrow and after tomorrow yourself at home. Okay, so I'm looking forward to see you back after the break, and you are watching Release with Ease, and I'm your host Edith Bekis, and see you soon. Hello, welcome back to Release with Ease. I am your host Edith Bekis, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV, and we are going to continue with cord cuttings. As I talked about it, the cords are created through thought patterns of other people or yourself. Might you are thinking about others and you creating some cords. You have maybe some emotions towards others, what you are not letting go. that can also create cords, but it's mostly other people creating cords, emotional attachments towards you through their thought patterns, through their expectations. So how to get rid of them? So there are several methods, and I had, in the last 20 years, when I was in my spiritual journey and learning many modalities, I had many mentors. And then I learned a couple of cord cuttings techniques from them. I also have some techniques I channeled from angels, but in this case, I'm going to share with you two cord cuttings, two ways to cut cords, which I was learning from mentors. So the first cord cutting ways is actually inviting Archangel Michael into your space and asking his support in your cord cutting. And why is that? He's the angel who has a sword, and we want the cords to be cutted with a sharp sword, right? So how to actually connect with angels is really easy. With angels, when you connect, you just actually call upon them. You just call their name and you invite them into your space. So we can do this together. You just need to close your eyes, and we can say that, "Dear Archangel Michael, please come to me now." And you can feel his presence. And now we are going to ask Archangel Michael to reveal our cords of attachment. So we can say that, "Dear Archangel Michael, please reveal my cords of attachments." And might you can already see it with your sixth sense, with your senses. Where are those cords? And now we are going to ask Archangel Michael to cut those cords. So, dear Archangel Michael, please cut my cords of attachments now. And imagine that he's cutting off all of your cords of attachments with his swords, and they are falling off from you. Keep breathing. And now you can say thank you to Archangel Michael, and you can open your eyes. This is actually the easiest way to do it because someone else does it for you, right? So I highly recommend you to use this technique. And then the second technique I'm going to show you is you are going to cut the cords of attachment yourself. It requires a bit of a meditation. So we are going to tune into the energies and basically invite in the source energy into your system, and we're going to use that to cut the cords. Okay. Currently, we don't have any more cords left, hopefully, because Archangel Michael already cut it. But I still want to show you this method. So we're going to still, there is even something growing since the previous one. Maybe someone is already thinking about you something. So might something left or is happening right now. So we can still cut something. So I want you to close your eyes again and breathe into your belly. Relax. Focus on your breathing. Relax your jaw. Relax your shoulders. Relax your arms. Breathe evenly. And now I want you to imagine that a beautiful light coming down through your crown chakra, the light from the source energy, coming down through your crown chakra and filling you up by your spine, filling up the core of your body, where your chakras are, from the root chakra towards your crown chakra, by your spine, creating like a light column in your body. And now I want you to imagine that this light column is coming out of you in front of your body, and it becomes a sword in your hands. So your hands is in front of you, and this light becomes a sword in your hands. And you actually lift up this sword and cut your cords around your body. This is the time when I said it doesn't matter if you don't see your cords or you don't know where they are. You just be very, very to make sure that you cut all around your body, basically every place. All right. So you physically going to lift up your hands with the light sword in it, and you hover around your body as you cutting your cords. Take some time to do it. I know we don't have much left now, maybe just some little ones. But just for practicing, basically hovering around your body, and you bring it back in front of you. And then you dissolve the sword back into your trunk, in next to your spine, where it was coming from. And now it's a column of light within you again, from your root towards your crown chakra. And now you can bring your awareness back into your third eye, and you can open your eyes if you feel so. So these are the two techniques I wanted to share with you. So you can use whichever is more comfortable you or more you resonate with. And basically when you do the cord cuttings yourself, then just make sure that you are in tune with the energies, and you thinking less and more just focusing on the whole process as a flow with less thoughts. Because every time we meditate or we going through some process, when we invoke the energies into our body, then it's the best is like having less thought and more going with the flow and allowing the energy just to help us to complete the task, basically. So without telling yourself all the steps, just feel it through instead of going through the steps in your mind. Okay, so that would be the best way to do it. And if you liked Archangel Michael, then invite him and he can help you with this. You can do it at the end of the days, after feeling a bit tired or drained from the whole day. It's really highly recommended to do that. Then you can enjoy your evening much better, feeling more fresh, especially if you also had a shower and you change your clothes and then you saged the place, then it's definitely going to be more liberated for you. So I would love to hear your thoughts about this. And then if you actually practiced any of this before, please leave some comments if you want to, because I would love to know how you actually do this kind of things. And I was talking about that we are heading into this eclipse season from today, and then next week we're gonna have actually the equinox as well, and that's gonna also bring a huge transformation. We are going from that's going to be like a new year, astrological new year, basically, going from Pisces into Aries. And it's going to bring some amazing shifts. And it's also when the the veil is sinning. So how can I say that? There are higher dimensions which affecting us hugely. I always talk about that. And then in these times when it's very when we are doing when we are in the equinox, for example, the very sinning means that we have more access to these higher dimensions, which means it's much easier to connect to the higher dimensions. So in the next episode, I would love to work with your spirit guides. So we are going to do actually a special meditation to call upon your spirit guides and meet them. So I recommend you to come up with some questions to your spirit guides for next week, or come up with some issues or problems you need to solve, because they are more than happy to actually assist you with that when we do the meditation. So it's going to be a visitation in their higher dimension during this time to ask questions from them and get their support. So that's going to be the next episode next week. Okay. So if you still feel like you don't know how to solve your issues with your family members, or how to really set boundaries, because I know that some people is saying like, okay, but they are too manipulative, they are too controlling, and I don't have enough money to move away, or I don't have enough power or strength to talk back or to protect myself, and then I'm in this negative environment. What can I do? And then I always suggest that everything starts within you again. So as soon as you start meditating, as soon as you start being more peaceful inside of you, and then being more in gratitude and in positive energies, that will shine out to them. So just start working on yourself is gonna already bring results in the outside. So instead of feeling sorry about yourself, or instead of feeling like, oh, I am hopeless or helpless, or I am in a terrible situation, quit that kind of feelings, quit that kind of being in that sorrow, and then focus on your own healing and on bringing you out of this situation on first on a spiritual way, before you can actually do it on a physical way. Why is that? When we manifesting, we need to understand that we manifest what we are, not what we want. So if you are in a low vibrational space, when you feel sorry about yourself, then you just gonna attract more of these negative situations like manipulation and using you, and then feeling bad about the situation. But soon as you can pick yourself up and start thinking about good things, visualizing good things, assuming a better future, hoping for a better future, trusting the process, trusting the divine support, and then basically coming from the way like, yes, I'm going to better myself, I'm going to bring myself out of this situation. And I am sure everybody has something good in their life. So count your blessings. That's the easiest way to move out of from negative thinking and venting and sorrow towards gratitude and towards positive thinking. Count your blessings and use every time you can to feel joy and happiness when these people maybe are not around you, to raise your vibration, to make sure you are in a happy space. Okay, so we're going to have a short break now, then we are coming back, and I am also going to share with you some great news. So stick with us, and this is Release with Ease, and I'm your host, Edith B. Kiss, and see you soon. Welcome back to Release with Ease. I'm your host, Edith B. Kiss, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV. So the great news I want to share with you is that if you are someone who feels like you need support, who needs healing, who's suffering from PTSD, depression, insomnia, or anxiety or stress, and then you really need some help, then I actually opened up my Skool community where you can join like-minded people, and then you can share with them, whatever is happening in your life, or you can listen to what they share there. It's like a very safe place to be. And also you're receiving free healings there, because that's one of my bonus. If you join the community, you receive one private session with me, a 2-hour healing session, when we go deep and we do a cell level healing about your most burning issue. And we also have a weekly group coaching call there when we're doing manifestation techniques and healings and coaching. So it's a really nice environment doing it in a group with my community. So if you are seeking some people who's understanding for you, and then you want to spend some nice time with them in growing you spiritually and healing, then I highly recommend you to join my Skool community. It's the same name, Release with Ease, so you can find it easily. And I actually offer now 7 days free trial. So you can join and stay for 7 days free, and you can already use the meditation library with very powerful ancestral healing meditations, karma healing meditations, manifestation meditations. And you also have access to the Life Transformation System course, which gives you answers for all your questions about why is your life actually how it is. And then there are also some workshops there. If you level up in the community, because in Skool there is a system, a gamification, where you can level up as you communicate with others. So as you leveling up, you can actually get access to other powerful workshops, which are recorded already, and then they have great healings there and coachings and teachings. So I believe that this community would highly beneficial for you, for your healing journey and for your overall well-being. And in that 7 days, you can also join our group coaching call, which is happening weekly, basically. And I would love to see you there, so you can also share your light with us and get the support you need. So again, the name is Release with Ease, is in Skool, skool.com. You can find it in the discovery, and we are looking forward to have you there and see you shine, and then to help you to heal, basically. So I'm very excited about this, because my group coaching used to be on my website, wasn't that out there, and people didn't know about it too much, only my closer community. But now it's like more open to more people, basically, to join and enjoy all of these benefits. And I'm very excited about that, to show it actually to more people. And I just very excited about Skool, because they have so much great feature as the labeling up or the bonuses. Other bonuses is, if you stick with us for 6 months, you get access to my Elemental Light Healer course for free. And also, if you stick with us for a whole year, you get access to my Karma Yoga Healing Facilitator course. So you can even learn all the teachings about karma and ancestral healing, and also about the source memory healing, which is the session which helps releasing actually the traumatic experiences and help you to go through the forgiveness and the letting go, and brings you the healing. So that's also the one-on-one bonus session, which you already receive as soon as you join the community. So I'm very excited about to show you these possibilities, because I know that so many people is suffering out there. When my clients coming to me and then they telling me that they actually suffering from PTSD for decades, that's really, really crucial. And then when they say like they are having panic attacks for years, so it's really, I feel that it's really important to help everybody who's going through this kind of things. And then if you see me, if you find me, there is a reason for that, because this probably would be the end of your healing journey or the beginning of the healing journey, but something great for sure, because I am here to support you. And these modalities are very powerful, and they have really helped a lot of people and myself. So that's why I'm here and spreading the word about it. And in a couple of episodes, you're also going to experience here the group healing, which is obviously not as powerful as the one-on-one session, because in groups I can't really see how you react towards certain parts of the healing. It can be still very beneficial. In group healings, about 80% of the people is actually experiencing great benefits of the healing, but some people has difficulties going into the unconscious or communicate with their unconscious. So when I am in a private session, then I can actually overcome that difficulties, and we are able to establish that communication on a one-on-one session. So that's why I recommend you to actually join the Skool community, where I can support you on a one-on-one session on your issue, basically, whatever you're going through. So I hope you enjoyed this cord cutting and also all the other episodes we were doing. I'm gonna bring you more and more healings here, and as I said, the source memory healing later on. And we're also going to talk about other things which is preventing you to get diseases and physical illnesses, and how is it connecting with your thought patterns, and also with the energetic, with your field, with your energy field, with your body. So it's really important to acknowledge that everything is connected. We are connected. And as you heal, your people, the people around you can also lift it up, because we are connected through consciousness, the earth's consciousness. We are connecting everybody, all the humans are connected through consciousness. So as you heal and lift yourself up, is actually going to affect the humanity in whole as well. So we are here to do that. We are here to heal ourselves and others at the same time. So when you actually take the responsibility for your own healing, you support others as well. That's the beauty of it, the whole things, right? So see you next time. You were watching Release with Ease, and I am your host, Edith Beekis, and this show was brought to you by Bold Brave TV, and hope to see you next week. Take care, everybody.